one of the biggest things is trying to draw logic and stuff like this. Like my one of my biggest inspirations as a researcher was Congressman Leo Ryan, who actually he died in pursuit of constitutional freedoms for people. You know, he was a congressman. He was exploring the Jonestown little town down there in Guyana, and he ended up dying. And like he set an example through his life repeatedly in different instances to help people. Like when he went to check himself into prison in Folsom for a week just to make sure, the qualities were up to date. Or when he, during the civil rights protest riots in Watts, he went to go live with a black family. And, like you see community watch groups and you see people abusing community watch groups. And you would think if there's somebody running a community watch group or there's people in the area that are involved in law enforcement or are Freemasons, you would think being a Freemason would mean setting a positive example. You would think being a Freemason would mean being a pillar in your community that people can look up to instead of abusing the privileges of the community and using the privileges of the community and using the resources of the community to try to ruin somebody that all they're doing is expressing their constitutional freedoms. Like it's everything's backwards. The person who's expressing their constitutional freedoms, they're in the right of the law. The people abusing that are the ones outside the law. And so even if you go listen to some of my interviews that I do with rappers and entertainers and people who have lived in poverty or have been through strife, the people who go through that the most, even the older people, will say that they don't wish that for anybody else. You know what I mean? They'll say like, "Yeah, I wouldn't choose this path for anybody else. I wouldn't tell." Like that same mindset should be involved in the abuse of community watch groups. Like a police officer shouldn't go out of their way to help somebody exploit a victim. Like people shouldn't have to be afraid of the police, and that's what's going on in all around the country. People are afraid. Like in Detroit or Chicago or Los Angeles, people are afraid of the police. And that's insane. Even like with these community watch groups, and you hear about people talking about the abuse of neighborhood watch groups and apps. People shouldn't be afraid to explain to an audience what's going on, and that's a form of intimidation. Like saying, "Oh, we're running a watch group, and we're making sure everything's okay," but everything they're doing is used for intimidation or used to exploit. Nobody should be telling anybody to intimidate somebody. Nobody should be telling anybody to harass somebody or break the law. If they are doing it, then they should go through the same legal proceeding that everybody else should go to. If somebody if somebody at a biker bar starts intimidating somebody and following somebody around, what's going to happen? The police are going to get involved, right? So if somebody lives in a neighborhood watch group and they have a Freemason or a police officer or whoever's involved intimidating the person, following the person, that's breaking the law. And there's due process and legal proceedings. Like there should be no reason why a court system would allow somebody to be prosecuted for a crime they didn't commit by individuals who are harassing them. That's a rape. That's a rape and abuse of the justice system. Even in prison, that's illegal. Like if you go into a state prison or a federal prison, and the prison guards are abusing their position as prison guards and they're harassing somebody, that's illegal. They can go to jail. There's prison guards who've gone to jail and been fired. Even in prison, it's illegal. You know what I mean? So there should be, and like no matter how much disinformation they make about somebody, like they make disinformation up about people in order to get people to do this, there's no excuse for it. Even if it's not disinformation, in some circumstances it was true, but they were exploiting it, that's still illegal and wrong. And these people sit around making up lies about people and paying people to follow people for the purposes of harassment. That's breaking the civil rights. That's breaking everything. Even street gangs have better rules than that. Even if you go to Chicago or Detroit, even inner city street gangs have better rules than that. Like that doesn't make any sense. That somebody would be allowed, like the neighborhood I live in, I was saying last night, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It's not the Freemasons law or the Ku Klux Klan's law. It's the supreme